Hey guys, Frame by Frame here. I'm just doing a real quick video for you on a few of my favorite keyboard shortcuts to edit faster in Adobe Premiere Pro. I have one of my recent Twitch broadcasts loaded up and I want to pull some highlights from that down to the timeline. So in this video, we're going to go over the M button, the I button, the O button, the less than and greater than buttons, and the up and down buttons on your keyboard. First up is the M button, the marker button. We're going to use this button to bookmark some spots in your video to later bring down to your timeline. So let's go to your preview window. Let's say that you like this moment right here. I'm going to hit the M button. See how it made a little yellow marker right here? And you're going to continue to do that for as many moments as you want. So I'm going to move down the timeline. Let's say that I found one here and here and here and here. So let's say that these represent 5 moments that I really like. Now I want to navigate between these moments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control-Shift-M and see how it navigates between those. And then I'm going to hit Shift-M to go to next. So Control-Shift-M for previous, Shift-M to go down to the last marker. So to go to the next marker. So Control-Shift-M, we're going to go back to the beginning, the very first marker. So assuming that with all of these markers, you've set them exactly where you want them and at the points where you want to bring them down to the timeline, now you're going to hit the I button. That's your in point button, and then you're going to let it play out.
Has the dying state?
Yeah, but the game should know that this character doesn't.
I know.
Okay, now we're going to stop it. We're going to hit the O button. So that's your out point, and then from here, you're going to hit your less than button. That is your insert button. That drops it down to the timeline. Now, you also have your greater than button, which is overwrite. It does the same thing. It puts the video on the timeline. See that? Here's the difference between the two of them. Is if you use your insert button and you drop it down, it pushes everything down the timeline from where your playhead is. So let's assume you're in the middle of this clip. And we're going to go to video 2 and audio 2 to kind of demonstrate this a little bit better. If I hit insert, see how it pushed from that moment down? It split that clip and pushed it down. So it's forcing everything down the timeline and inserting into the timeline right where you asked it to, the video from your preview window. Now, if you don't want to do that, like let's say you just want to B-roll it and you want to cover this moment with something else, then you use your overwrite button, which is your greater than button. See that? It just covered it up real nice and smooth and didn't upset anything else on the timeline. So that's the difference between those two buttons. Now we're going to go back to the preview window and we're going to hit Shift-M to go to the next marker. Let's say this is a moment that you wanted. You're going to hit in point, let it roll out.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, he got me off the hook. Woo! And then we're going to hit out. And then we're going to lay it down on the timeline by using insert. So we're going to hit the less than button. There it is, laid down. So we're going to continue to do this for the next 3 markers. So we're going to go Shift-M, in point.
Hey, bang, yay! Right, Rick? I mean, right, John?
And then out. Then I'm going to go again. And then I'm going to hit Shift-M, go down, in point. I picked some good moments, actually. This is pretty good, just for like random moments.
Yeah, he's all...
Okay, and we're gonna roll that in there, and then we're gonna hit Shift-M again. We're gonna go to the next one.
Close as if you survive, right? I can't remember. That's generators.
These are all totally random moments, by the way. I didn't pick any of these out. So, and then we're gonna hit O again, and there you go. There's those 5 moments on the timeline already. You've already picked out all your moments and laid them on the timeline. So the next thing that you want to do is if you want to navigate between all of these, we'll hit home. So we'll go to the beginning. Press your up and down arrows. See how that brings you to the next cut in the video. So if you make it bigger, see this little cut right here between the two? Up and down brings you to the very next point. Now, the only time that this isn't going to work for you is if, let's say, you messed with your track targeting over here and you don't have something lit that you're supposed to. My advice is to have all of these lit up blue all of the time, unless you're specifically not wanting to for some reason. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to lift up this piece of video right here. I'm going to bring it over here. Now, let's say you only have video 1 and audio 1 lit up on the inner, your inner track here on your track targeting. What happens is when you press the up and down arrow, if it's not lit up blue, see how video 2 is not lit up blue? When you press down, See how it does not go to the end of that clip, but if you light it up, it will go to the end of that clip. So you need to make sure that these are lit up if you're going to use those up and down arrows a lot. Let's hit Control Z and get that back to where it was supposed to be. So now maybe you want to throw a little bit of B-roll in there. That's really easy. All we want to do is bring video 1 up a track. I'm going to shut off this track right here, this audio track, because I still want to hear what's going on this track and I don't want it to get mixed up too much. So I'm just going to shut it off. I'm going to pick a point up here in my video. I'm going to hit an in point, not an out point, just an in point. And then I'm going to find a spot that I want to cover.
Character doesn't.
Right here. And then I'm going to hit Overwrite. Boom. And it just lays the video in there for me. And then when you roll it, it's just there. It just comes in. So the thing you don't want to do is set an in point and an out point in your preview window, and then an in point and an out point on your timeline. So watch what happens. If I do that, and then I hit overlay, the source is longer than the destination. And what that means is this video you chose here, this in and out point, is longer than this in and out point. And what Premiere tries to do is slow it down or speed it up to fit in here. So if I try and do it again, it'll give you a bunch of choices to what you want to do. You really don't want to do fit to fill because it will change how the video looks. It'll change its speed. So what you want to do is we're going to go up here and right click, clear out, hit overlay, and there it is. And you laid it in there. And then you can do it again. You can set another point here, in point, out point, overlay, in point, out point. Choose a spot up here, in point. There you go. We just covered up 3 different spots on this timeline. And this is just the basic skeleton edit without any transitions in it. So there you go. There's some basic advice for you guys as far as keyboard shortcuts go. Let me know if you liked the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And thanks for watching.